Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 49 of the Anatomy of Knitting podcast. My name is Erin, and I'm going to be your host for this afternoon. It is currently the 3rd of July of 2014, and I am coming to you from the cute little village of Ballincollig, Ireland. Let's see. This is probably going to be, we'll see, end up seeing how long of a show it is, but I think it's going to be more on the half-hour side. Or shorter, but we'll see. It has been about a month since I last podcasted, and I have a little bit of knitting to show you. There's no finished objects this week, but we have some sewing and some quilting. And apparently I'm going to be getting a delivery from UPS today. They haven't arrived yet. And so if I end up having to cut really quickly, that's what's happened. I've had to go meet the UPS man, so let's get started. So for what I'm knitting, there's Ari, one of my cat co-hosts. I should have some others. Lola just came in the room. Apparently they're all interested that mommy is talking to nobody. So let's show you what's on the needles. So, I apparently stopped in mid-row. I had these and I was out knitting when the boys were out playing this morning. We ended up, so my mom is supposed to arrive here tomorrow for a visit. She's going to be here for about 2 weeks. So I figured I should record today while I had the chance. Oh, there's Lola. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to record for another 2 weeks because she would be here. So the boys and I this morning went out to the grocery store, and my mom loves the Irish brown bread, so I got her a loaf of that and some smoked salmon. And then when we got back, we went outside and played. And so I had a little bit of time to knit on these. And these are my stockinette socks. I think I showed these to you last time. I believe I was just about to there-ish, somewhere around here, when I knit on when I showed you these last time. Well, I continued the cuff. I take these outside when the boys and I go out in the backyard. Sometimes I get a lot of work done on them, sometimes I don't. Because sometimes they need more intervention than other days. But I did my normal slip stitch heel, and then I turned the heel, and then I finished turning the heel yesterday, and I've gone, I don't know, maybe about 15 rounds since then. There's my gusset. It's still just the first sock, and then this is the Lana Grossen Millenweit Wave, and this is 80% wool, 20% nylon, and the highly specific color of 1403, and then there's the dye lot, but you all probably don't really care about the dye lot. So I'm just going to keep chugging along on these as much as I can. This is my, when I have a chance to knitting, and purse knitting if we're going on a little road trip. I took these, I think the good chunk of work that I got done on these was my husband and I and the boys took a little road trip to Kinsale to go have brunch one morning. So it's about 45 minutes to an hour to Kinsale from here. So I had a chance to work on then. And then the other thing that's mainly been getting a lot of my work, there's that beautiful cross patch bag that I made. And I don't know if I told you this, but I made 2 of these. Well, my mom has one and then I have the other. But I'm still working on my Viajante, I think is the way it's supposed to be pronounced. And it's definitely a lot bigger since you last saw it. I think I have no idea where I was when when I last recorded. I think I was like somewhere down here. So I have continued on doing the bias knitting. There we go. That way you can see it all. It's so weird. This is like mirror imaged on my, because I'm using my computer's camera to record this. So it's mirror imaged. It's very weird. So you'll see how it's kind of doing the triangle part. If my cord was a little bigger, you'd be able to see it. And this is the Volmise lace. And I don't remember the color name. Give me just a moment. Go on to Ravelry and look. Have been in the stockinette stitch, like black hole, because you just knit it around and around and around and around and around. This is the blau tint. So I believe blau is blue, blue tint. And let me go back to iMovie. There we go. Sorry if I shook the camera there. So I'm in the stockinette stitch black hole, and this has become my best friend. This is not the real time. I haven't switched that to the current time. Oh, look, you can see how I'm recording. There's like an infinity Erin. I'm currently in the stage where you knit until you have X number of grams left, and we'll say 50 bazillion grams left, because I don't want to give away. It's a paid-for pattern, so I don't want to give away the amounts that you actually need. So I'm like 50 bazillion plus 4 grams, and then so I knit a repeat, 50 bazillion plus 2 grams, and so I think once I finish this next it's a 2-row kind of repeat that you do, a plain round and then a pattern round. So I'm on the pattern round, and oh look, I had no idea that this actually had a little stand. Anyway, distracted. I believe once I finish this repeat, I'll be able to move on to the mesh portion, which means I will be almost done. And I was hoping to podcast after I had finished this to be really impressive, but I have not had that opportunity to do that. So I'm knitting. Oh, so my laptop's on a pillow because it was too low earlier. So that's why I keep hitting it and shaking it. So that's all that's going on. And it's not in real life. Yeah, it's not as blue as it's showing up on the screen. Let me see. No, I guess, yeah, that's not accurate. Yeah, the blue, this color too is not, it's a little more green in real life, not so much just plain aqua. Anyway, I'm enjoying working with the yarn. It's lovely. It's a little snaggy with cats. And I just got a little ball of jelly now. So hopefully that'll be done. It will be done the next time you record, because I'm kind of sort of on a monthly schedule at the moment. So it should be done the next time I see you all. And that's everything that's been on the needles. And I'm just going to have this be whole one cut, because I'm short on time, and I don't know if I'll have time to do the fancy little things, the inserts. Today I found Cherry Coke. Oh my gosh, this is like the best thing ever. I love Cherry Coke. And the best thing about sodas over here is that there's no corn, actually food, period, there's no corn syrup, which I'm anti. Well, I don't like the thought of corn syrup, because it's just, I think it has a lot to do with the obesity epidemic, but anyway, soapbox, I'm not going to get on it. Today's chocolate is going to be the Cadbury Dairy Milk. I'm going to eat some of this when I am editing. So, delicious chocolates. Let's see. I guess I will move on to, oh, I have stash acquisition. I'm like looking at all of the stuff that I have here to show you, and I didn't even tell you in the beginning. So we've taken a couple of trips. So when we went to the Dingle Peninsula, I think I told you all about that trip when we when I recorded last. So I ended up finding a yarn store there. It wasn't specifically a yarn store, but it was a they sold hand knit sweaters, they sold weaving, they sold I'll say craft shop. I mean, it wasn't like craft in the American sense of craft shop where you think it would have craft supplies, but like craft shop is in people have made things and they're selling them. I ended up finding, I'll show you this here. Oh my gosh, it's so cool. So I ended up finding this gorgeous, lovely, oh, it's gonna make bad noises. I'm sorry. This lovely, locally produced, there we go. Lovely brown, rustic yarn. So I found that. And it's like a nice chocolate brown. The color is not very accurate here. And it is a 3-ply yarn. And it does feel it feels a little scratchy when I like touch it, or I won't say scratchy, but rustic. But it doesn't, it's next to my face, soft. So I have 4 of these skeins, and I believe this skein is over 200 yards. So I should have enough for a sweater. So that's lovely. And I believe this is produced somewhere in like the middle of Ireland. So there's that. Put that back in the bag. I don't know what I'm going to make with this one yet. I haven't actually gone on to Ravelry to investigate. And then the second thing that I bought was this lovely giant cone of blue tweed. And there, it's a singles yarn. And I think that color is fairly accurate. It's sort of a deep blue, and it's got flecks of red and green, some purple. And they had all sorts of different colors of this tweed yarn. And I went to the gentleman who was selling, or who was, taking all the money, and I asked him about how much was in this cone. So he had to do a little math. He weighed it and did a little math. And there's probably about 1,600 yards on this, which seems about accurate. I would think there would be maybe 2,000 just from the looks, but I don't know. You can't judge a book by its cover, so you can't judge a cone of yarn by its appearance. It's like, it's as big as it's bigger than my head. The cone is bigger than my head. So, I don't know what I'm going to do with this yet either. The yarn is begging to be like something cabled, but I don't know. The singles yarn, I don't think would do a very good job in a cabled project, but I'll have to do some research and see. Yeah, so that's number 2. And then this past weekend, I have Saturdays off as part of like keeping the mama sane around here, because I do a great amount of the childcare, obviously, because I'm the stay-at-home mom. So Saturdays are usually my day off, and this past Saturday I took the car to Limerick, Ireland, which is a little north, a fair amount north, and a little west of us in Cork. And so tomorrow my mother is coming into town, or she's supposed to if that stupid Arthur hurricane doesn't mess up everything. It's only stupid because it's going to affect her travel plans. So hopefully, knock on wood, she'll be able to fly out tomorrow, and it's actually cheaper and a little easier to fly into Shannon Airport than it is to fly into Cork Airport. However, Shannon Airport is about a 2-hour drive from here because they don't have, like, there's a lot of curvy roads, so it takes a lot of, like, this kind of driving to get up to Shannon. So to get to Shannon, you have to go through Limerick. And so I decided last weekend that I would practice because I haven't done I've done a fair amount of driving around Cork, but I haven't done any driving around the rest of the country. So I found a quilt shop in Limerick and decided to visit it just to kind of, because I'm trying to find the best fabric store here in Ireland that I can go to. And the one in Limerick is pretty good. I mean, there's no Fabric Depot here, I'll say, which makes me sad, but there's not probably the population to support that. Anywho, to get to Limerick, I had to drive through Blarney, i.e. Blarney Castle and the Blarney Woolen Mills. And as I was driving to Limerick, I decided that when I was driving back home, I would stop at the Woolen Mills because it's a very touristy thing to go do, and I didn't want to have to put the babies through that because, you know, bringing the stroller, it's big, and I didn't know how much room there would be there, and, you know, I didn't know what to expect, and I didn't want the babies to get upset because, you know, we weren't moving or something. So I ended up going to the Woolen Mills. I had lunch there. There was, I had fish and chips. They were good, the fish and chips, but the choice of fish and chips was, like, I could have gone a little more adventurous. However, I ended up getting a bag of Donegal tweed knitting wool from the Blarney Woolen Mills. This is made in Donegal, Ireland, and it's all natural light glare that you're getting. Yeah, it's sort of, it doesn't look as, well, I don't know, it's hard to, it's kind of a deep purpley maroon color, and this is also a singles yarn, and each of these skeins is 183 yards, and there's 12 skeins in each of these, and I don't know if they sell the yarn online, but you can go to the Blarney Woolen Mills and check out the Woolen Mills. Let's see, you get the 12 pack, and it's 64 euro, which is a decent amount for a sweater. Conversion, sort of the top of my head conversion of it from US dollars to euro. You have to go, you know, to the internet to find out what the exact one is, but it's about $1.40 is usually what I kind of use to kind of roughly calculate what I'm spending. Although, you know, my husband is paid in euros now, so I shouldn't have to convert that. Anyway. Blarney Woolen Mills. The shop is beautiful, and I ended up buying a couple of things for the babies there. I know you're gonna shake your head at me, but I bought some sweaters for the babies because they're just so cute. And the amount of time that it takes to knit sweaters for the babies versus the amount of time they get to have to enjoy it. There we go. I figured spending a little bit of money on some sweaters would be nice. So these are cabled front and back. Ooh, and this is a nice navy blue. There you go. It's hard to see cabling with the color. And this is the 1 to 2 year size, and it's adorably gigantic on the babies right now. I figure it'll be perfect for when they're when winter comes around. And then I just got the same thing, but a different design. This is the Kids Crew Neck Aran. Got the same one in a purple. This is a lot easier to see. And then the sleeve just has the same cable and then some garter. Reverse. No, it looks like reverse stockinette. So pops. And this is one of those mottled. It's not a solid like the navy is. So I ended up getting that for the babies. And yarn for me, and then I got some Irish whiskey toffee for my husband. And that was a successful trip to the Woolen Mills. So, those are all my stash acquisitions. There's no plans, or there's no specific plans for anything yet. What I'm planning to do is finish the Viajante, and then I'm going to work on spinning a fleece. I've recently rearranged my office, yarn room, sewing room, just sanity room. Recently rearranged that and was able to move some things out, and everything's a little more organized. And I was able to fit all but one of my bags of fleeces in the closet that I have in there. And I have 16 comforter bags up there that I had to find room for. Yeah, I have a little bit of a fleece problem. If you see it as a problem, I don't. But I would like to spin some of that down. So I have a Polworth fleece that I have been spinning. It's over there. But I would have to move you to get to it. So I'm not going to show you this time. But I think I've shown it in the past. It's sort of a light caramel color, sort of. Yeah. So I'm spinning that on the mini spinner, which, hey, yay for Hanson, works on the power here. All I have to do is just get the plug adapter and plug it in, and the power supply is all set to deal with the different power here. That's been the problem about this move, is that I had to get rid of so many, like, no lamps work here. I had to buy all new lamps. I want to over dye this Polworth because I'm not sure that the caramely color will work very well with my complexion. And that would have been fine had we still been living in the States, but the fact that I had to get rid of my, I had a crock pot that I would dye in, I had to get rid of that. So I have to figure out if they have, I assume that, I mean, Ireland must have some sort of used resale place. I know I've seen signs for boot sales, which boot sales are kind of like garage sales, but ran out of the boot of your car, which is your trunk. So maybe going to one of those, I'd be able to find a crock pot or something. I could also, I suppose, use the oven and like a big aluminum pan, but I haven't seen gigantic aluminum pans here. Yeah, I'll have to figure out how to dye here. So yeah, that's the plan, is that when I'm done with the Viajante, I will work on finishing that fleece, and I think I have a decent amount left. It's going to take a bit once I finish that. Let's see, sewing wise, I have finished my Halloween costume. It looks awesome. I'll see if I can do the picture-in-picture thing. Here, let me move to a side. So maybe, hopefully, I have inserted the picture there. Hopefully. Otherwise, I'm looking really silly. There we go. So I finished my Halloween costume. I did the muslin first. So I made, because I'm shaped differently from the pattern. I had to make some pattern size adjustments. I did that, and so the funny thing is, so I took a class on Craftsy about how to do this, and I'm following her directions. And the 2 times that I've used her directions have been for the Halloween costumes. That's why I need to learn how. So what you do is you look at your pattern envelope. This is your like 2-minute description on how to change patterns to fit you. You look at your pattern envelope. You look at the size you're starting from, the measurements that they have determined are their standard measurements. So like, I don't know, 40-inch bust, 20-inch waist, 40-inch hips, you know. And then you look at your measurements and compare them. And to figure out how much you need to add to your pattern, you subtract the pattern measurements from your measurements if you're bigger. So 48-inch bust, and it's a 40-inch standard size, you need to add 8 inches to the bust area, if that's the part that you need to fit. And then you look at how many vertical seams that you're installing, or, as part of the pattern. And then you decide, take that 8 inches that you need to widen the pattern by, and you divide it by how many seams you have. So I had a seam here, and then 2 seams, on there. So I think I only had to add like 4 inches, something. I don't even remember anymore. So I added those, and when I made the muslin, when I made the test garment, because muslin is cheap, and to use the fashion fabric that I purchased for the costume, it's, $8 a yard versus $3 a yard. So you make the muslin, and then you do the rest. And so when I made the muslin, I swear to God, it was like 5 inches too big. Maybe I had to have been adding more than 5 inches. Whatever, it's all upstairs. My math that I did. But I did it all per the way I was supposed to. And this happened last year as well. I made the Dorothy costume, and that was only I only had 2 seams here that I had to divide the increased amount that I needed to do by. So it was huge. So I had to figure out how much I had to take out, and then whatever was left. I think, so say I added on 8 inches. Well, when I made the muslin garment, it was still 5 inches too big. So then I took that 8 inches and subtracted the 5 inches, and then determined, I guess in the final thing I need to increase it by 3.5 inches. So I did that, and I swear, I was sweating the entire time that I was making the bodice, because I was looking at it, it looked so small. And I was like, oh no, I hope it fits. Because the way that the instructions tell you how to do the bodice is that, it's got this piece here, and then 2 bodice pieces, and then, 2 back. Is there a back? Yeah, there is a back piece. And then 2 back pieces, and then you line the bodice as well. And I didn't do the lining part of the instructions, because I figured that just the front, the outside bodice part where you put on, and I believe you only line it because there's pieces of interfacing that you put on, like here and on the back, and so the inside is not ugly. I assume that's why it's just the bodice is lined. But I didn't do the lining part in the muslin, because I didn't think it would have any issues on size of the bodice. And thankfully I was correct. But as I was making it, I was like, oh, this looks smaller. This looks like I'm making it a lot smaller. But thankfully it worked out, and it looks good. And yeah, so for Halloween, My husband's cape is done, my cape is done, my costume is done, and I have started on his vest. And so I'm working on that, and he is not a standard size as well, so I've had to make some adjustments for him. So I'm working on his muslin now, and his vest is lined, so I'm actually lining his as part of the test garment. So we'll see. We'll see how things go. So that's all the sewing that I've done, and I'm coming on 30 minutes. I don't know if there's a time limit to FaceTime's or the iSight's memory thing, so I'm going to stop here because it's almost at 30 minutes, and then I'll come back with quilting. So I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back with quilting, and it doesn't look like there's any sort of amount, limit to the iSight's memory, so in the future I'll just keep going. But I wanted to play it safe. For quilting, I have finished a bag, which is pretty cool. This is Elizabeth Hartman's Perfect Quilted Totes bag. This is the wide tote. You can find Elizabeth Hartman as O. Franson online. So there's that side, and then it's a little different on this side. So, and then on the inside, it's got this awesome polka dot lining. I know it's very busy, but this is the only fabric that I had that the amount would work. It's got a slip pocket that you can slip like your phone, or I don't know if it's wide enough for like an iPad mini. And then it's got a zippered pocket there, which is also lined with that same fabric. You're supposed to do these in different fabrics, but I just did all the polka dot fabric because I'm a rebel. And then the lining is sewn to the outside of the bag, so it's never going to come up, which is pretty. Let's see if I can. Woo, woo. There we go. So I can't pull it out because it's sewn to the bottom. And then it has a magnetic closure at the top, so let's see. I learned a few things doing this bag. I learned that I needed to decrease the pressure of my walking foot, the presser foot, because when I started this, let's see which side will it show me? Yes, I believe it's the side that you're looking on. It's when I was quilting this Essex linen part. I believe that's Essex linen. It like seriously skewed everything, which I was not expecting. So when I do the next one of these, I'll know to decrease my walking foot pressure. And I made this on my Juki 2010Q machine, so I'm able to do that. And yeah, this is a fat quarter pack that I purchased from Island Quilter. And I think they're Michael Miller fabrics, but don't hold me to that. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't use a ton of the fabrics in here. There's actually a lot left. So I may do another. So that's one thing that I have done since I spoke to you last. And then the second thing that's going on, let me fill this back up. All the stuff that I brought down in it. I am going to join the Irish Patchwork Society here, which is like the quilting club. And as part of the Ballon or the Cork branch of the Irish Patchwork Society is doing a summer challenge. And what the summer challenge is that you were supposed to bring 2 fat quarters to a meeting, which is a meeting that happened before I arrived here. You bring 2 fat quarters to a meeting, and then the the meeting that I attended, they were going to give them back. And they were going to be cut in a specific shape that you then had to use in your quilt. So when I saw that there was a summer challenge, I was all for it. I totally wanted to participate because I need adult interaction. Too much baby stuff all day. So I looked all through the fat quarters that I had, and I considered using the fat quarters that I made the bag out of. But then I found this other group of fat quarters that I also purchased from Island Quilter. I believe it was during a quilting show. Let me show you most of the line. This is a Michael Miller line. It's designed by Violet Craft, and she is a Portland-based fabric designer and quilter. So this is the fat quarter. This is the rest of the fat quarter pack that I have. That's going to be a quilt that I'm going to be designing. This yellow one that you can sort of see is just those dots again. So that's that. And then the two fat quarters that I brought to get punched out got punched into these shapes, these sort of tumbling, I believe they're called tumbling blocks. And then the way that you do them, so that I have these birds, and then Portland bridges is the other fabric. So they can be put together like this, like tumbling blocks, but I'm not going to do that. I'm doing something cooler, which I'm not going to quite share because it's going to be, I have to like make sure it works first. So this is going to be like my Portland quilt, which I'm really excited about because it's like a little taste of home that I desperately miss. More birds. Yeah, these are all the Portland bridges in this. Well, I mean, they're all cut up, so you can't really see them. But all of the fabric is Portland bridges. That's a decent amount of one. So I'm super excited to start working on this, but I'm waiting for more fabric to get here. That's part of what's being delivered today is some of this fabric because it's sort of hard to find in stores around here because nobody cares about Portland here because it's Ireland. And I don't blame them for not caring about Portland. I wouldn't either. So, let me show you. There we go. I don't want to drop any there. So, see, these are some of the fabrics that I'm using. And then my mom is bringing a little extra of, I think, she's bringing extra of this fabric. And some of the others. And then she found some other fabrics that will go in the rest of the palette. Whoa! So that's what I have so far. Hopefully, the next time I talk to you, I will have at least one of my blocks done, and you can see what I'm going to be making. I ended up purchasing some quilt designing software that is really handy about designing your own quilts. I'm not sure how much I'm going to get into that, but when you design a quilt, you can the software will print out templates for cutting. It will print out yardage estimates because you can scan in the print that you have, and then use it to like paint into your quilt, and then it will use all the pieces of fabric that are painted with that fabric, and then it'll say, oh, okay, well, you need X number of yards of this fabric to make your quilt, which so handy, so handy. So I think that's all the crafting, quilting, sewing. everything that I have. Yeah, I don't think I'm missing anything. Oh, I cut my hair off. You've sure already noticed that. So yeah, I think that's it. Oh, there's one more thing. This is something I'm considering doing. There's these two ladies who design quilts. I'm trying to decide if I want to do this Ireland quilt. Some of it looks like the Mariner's Compass in the middle. There. I'm not sure I am skilled enough to do quite yet. So, I don't know. I'm still debating about it. They do it as like a block of the month, and they include the fabric and everything. It's a little expensive. That's the only hesitation that I have. Yeah, that's all the crafting stuff now. So, I'm going to start editing this. Looks like it's going to be about 40 minutes with everything. Thank you for watching, and I hope everyone in the States has a great 4th of July. Yeah, there's no like independence thing here during the summer. So, everybody have fun setting off fireworks. Be safe, and I will talk to you all next time. I'm gonna maybe start trying to get on a maybe 2-week rotation. We'll see. I don't know. I've been podcasting, I think, for close to 5 years, and haven't yet hit 50 episodes. So, gotta see. So babies, they crimp my style sometimes, you know. Love them though. So everybody, stay safe, and I will talk to you all next time. So, bye bye from Ireland.